Alright, you guys, welcome back to another video. And today, I wanted to talk about Pyro again and give you guys my list, my top 10 ships for Pyro as a solo player. Now, Pyro is a very dangerous system, a very difficult system to survive in. You're going to need a ship with a very special skill set to be able to conquer this very deadly star system. And based on my experience playing the Pyro preview so far, this is my list for the 10 best ships for a solo player in Pyro. Now, this list would change for someone who is doing a multi-ship group type gameplay loop. It would also change depending on if you're doing multi-crew. So multi-ship means that you're essentially going out in a fleet. This would require you to have some type of carrier ship, and multi-crew would be you have multiple friends on one ship. So a good example of multi-crew would be a ship like the Carrack, and a good example of multi-ship would be something like the Liberator and 3 Hornets. So this list specifically is just for solo players. That's why you might see some ships on this list that might not make a whole lot of sense to you until you put it into the context of a solo gameplay. Now, my criteria for this list is simple, okay? DPS, shields, quantum fuel, and hydrogen fuel. Now, you're going to have other specialties like cargo capacity and amenities like suit lockers, but ultimately, you could make those things work as long as you have those 4 main components: good DPS, good shields, good quantum fuel, and good hydrogen fuel. The last thing you want to do is refuel a lot in Pyro, okay? Now, obviously, this is going to be something that the Starfarer is going to be good at, is going to have its use in Pyro again, because we've only had access to the inner 3 planets in Pyro. We really haven't seen the use case of the Starfarers yet. It would be very interesting if players who own Starfarers tried to help ferry other players out to the further edges of the Pyro system. Now, let's get into this list. Now, at the top of this list is going to be the 600i Explorer. Right now and in the future, it is going to be totally OP for the Pyro system as a solo player. Right now, the 600i is already totally OP for a solo player. It has good DPS. It has amazing shields. It has a lot of fuel. It's going to have a lot of cargo capacity, even being able to carry a tank. Obviously, you could also put the new Tumble Storm in that cargo area, so you could roll up with a 600i Explorer and then drop a Tumble Storm and start blasting. You also have that armory and of course the med bay. This is going to be the biggest thing if you're a solo player playing in Pyro. I mean, think about it. The 600i Explorer literally checks all of the boxes. You have a lot of shields, you have a lot of DPS, you have a lot of amenities. Again, you have, that kitchen, you have the rooms for other crew members, you have that great panoramic view from the captain's quarters, and then you have a lot of cargo. You have the ability to carry a ground vehicle the size of the tank or the Tumble Storm, but you also, remember, you have those cargo areas above the vehicle bay, and of course you're going to have your navigation center at the back. So when the 600i rework comes into play, you're just gonna have a lot of features with the med bay and everything. So my top pick for Pyro is definitely going to be the 600i Explorer. So in terms of DPS, you got 3,324 as stock. Of course, you can always outfit that with ballistic Gatlings or something crazy and increase that DPS. But you also have a lot of shields. You have 200,000 in your shield pool. In quantum fuel, you have 3,000, and in hydrogen fuel, you have 2,385,000. So you have a lot of quantum and a lot of hydro. I would say for the pyro system and a ship this size, 3,000 quantum fuel is going to be where you're going to want to be at. Okay, the next ship on this list right here is going to be the Corsair. The Corsair has been spotted all over pyro, and for good reason. This ship has multiple entrance and exits. This is key. You don't want to have to be running through the entire ship as a solo player. You can take that elevator down, or you can take the ramp on the back. It also has a ton of DPS. Okay, it has good shields and a lot of fuel. You can carry pretty large ground vehicles. You could even put a snub in the back as a solo player. This could be something that's pretty valuable to you. Okay, it also has good amenities, has rooms, has bathroom, has a kitchenette, basically everything you want. It also has an airlock on the side. It technically has 3 entrance and exits. You have the airlock on the side, you have the elevator that goes to the roof, to the ground, and in the ship, and then you have the ramp on the back. Only downside is the wings and its handling, but you're not going to have to worry about that too much with that much shields and that much firepower. Okay, it has a DPS of 2,835. It has 100,000 in the shields. It's got 6,900 quantum fuel, more than double the quantum fuel of the 600i. It has 4.6 million hydrogen fuel. Okay, again, double what the 600i has. So you have, again, double what the 600i has in terms of quantum fuel and hydrogen fuel. Okay, then we have the Aquila. Okay, this ship is again, this is our size exploration ship. You've got decent amenities in it. You have the bathroom, you have the bunk beds. It is not the most comfortable experience, to be perfectly honest with you, but you do have that built-in snub fighter. Okay, this is huge for a solo pilot because you can potentially land it and fly along on a planet and save your fuel if that is what you so wish to do. Again, having that snub is not a necessity, but it can come in handy. Next is your DPS. You have big DPS on the Aquila. Okay, good cargo, lots of shields. It has the same amount of shields as the Corsair, and it has 1,900 DPS. In terms of fuel, it has half the fuel of the Corsair, 3,000 quantum, 1 million hydrogen fuel. So you're working with half the fuel of the Corsair, and a little bit less DPS, but you have that snub fighter. I think you're running roughly the same amount of a similar amount of cargo. So the Aquila is not a bad option. Again, if you put a snub fighter in the Corsair, it's going to take up your cargo area. You don't have that problem with the Aquila. Next, we move on to the 400i. The 400i, you might not seem like, you know, the king of this segment, but it is actually a lot better than it looks. Again, you have that hover bike garage at the front, so when you land on a planet, you can explore without taking up any of your cargo. Again, this is a big bonus. You also have those suit lockers. You have all the navigation table at the back. You have the captain's quarters, bathroom. The amenities are very nice. You have those climate controlled component areas. You don't have a lot of cargo, but you have escape pods, surprisingly enough. Okay, with the 400i, you have 490 DPS as stock. Your shields are 100,000, so you have the same shields as the Corsair and the Aquila. But in terms of fuel, you've got 4,900 quantum fuel. So you have more quantum fuel than the Aquila. And when it comes to hydrogen fuel, you have 5,339,000 hydrogen fuel. The 400i has the most hydrogen fuel of any ship on this list. So if you plan on sightseeing around planets, the 400i is going to be the ship you want to take, okay? So yeah, not a bad option for a solo player. Next on the list, we've got the MSR. The MSR is a very good dual role ship. You have that radar dish with the scanner, so you can do scanning gameplay. You have that computer array, so you can do data running. You have that cargo area, so you can do cargo and hand salvage. Again, you have a lot of amenities. You have the bedroom setup with the bathroom. You have the entertainment area with the chess table. You have a lot of amenities with the MSR. The MSR does not have a lot of DPS. The MSR has the same DPS though as the 400i, 492. But the MSR has way less shields. You have 18,000 shields instead of 100,000. But the benefit is you have more quantum fuel. The MSR has the most, does it? No, the MSR has the second highest amount of quantum fuel on this list at 9,740. So you have a ton of quantum fuel. You should be able to get all around pyro without a problem. Then hydrogen fuel, you have 4,850,000. Again, the second most amount of hydrogen fuel on this list is coming in with the MSR. Okay, so the MSR is not a bad choice if you want to get around the system fast. It is also probably the best handling ship on this list. Okay, the next ship we're going to talk about is the Freelancer. Okay, this is a sleeper ship, but I'm putting on this list because it has those hydrogen refineries on board. So when that functionality gets added to the ship, the idea is you're not going to have to worry about hydrogen fuel. But the DUR has more DPS than the 400i and the MSR at 652. 18,000 shields, giving it the same shield health pool as the MSR. It has 5,000 quantum fuel. That's a ton of quantum fuel, more quantum fuel than the 400i. Okay, and it has 1,450,000 hydrogen fuel. But again, when we get those refineries working, it should have effectively unlimited hydrogen fuel. Okay, then of course you have the cargo area. You can fit a ground vehicle in there. It doesn't have great amenities, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a hallway, but it does have a lot of seats in it. So if you want to take friends or ferry people around, I don't think it's a bad choice. Again, if you trust people enough to let them on your ship and you want to taxi people, the DUR is not a bad choice. Okay, the next ship on this list is going to be the Redeemer. The Redeemer, again, one of those very cool, very OP ships. If you plan on running combat missions, doing bounties in space, the Redeemer is not a bad choice. The Redeemer has pilot control DPS because you can slave the remote turret on the bottom of the Redeemer to the pilot, giving you a DPS pool as stock of 2,328. Your shields are massive, 200,000. This is more shields than the 400i, the MSR, the DUR. Big shields. Then your quantum is 5,700. You have a lot of quantum. Okay, and your hydrogen fuel is 660,000. Now I kind of skipped over the raft, but the reason for that is because, in my opinion, the raft is the ultimate sleeper on this list. A lot of people are thinking, why the heck is the raft on this list? But the Raft also actually has a pretty decent DPS. Now, the Raft doesn't have any guns as standard, so I put 2 Yellow Jacket ballistic Gatlings on there because, to be perfectly honest with you, if you are getting in combat, you're just going to want the highest DPS possible so you can get out of there. In my opinion, with this loadout, you will have a DPS of 1088, more DPS than the MSR 400i and the DUR. So that's a good DPS pool. Next thing is shields. You have 18,000 shields. This is the same shield health pool as the DUR and the MSR. So it's pretty decent shields for this size ship. The next thing is fuel. The Raft comes in as the winner in terms of fuel of all the ships on this list. Okay, the Raft has 27,000 quantum fuel. That's right, it has 27,000 quantum fuel. So you should be able to jump anywhere in the pyro system with the Raft without needing to be refueled. And in terms of hydrogen fuel, it has 2,284,000, which is not groundbreaking, but then again, you're not spending that much time flying around on a planet. You'll probably just land, do your cargo stuff, then get back up into space and jump. Okay, also, the Raft has good amenities. The Raft has an incredible interior. It has an airlock, so it has a secondary entrance and exit. It has suit lockers, bathroom components. It has that, 2-story engineering setup. It has the bunk beds. It has the kitchenette, personal storage. The interior of the Raft is amazing. You can have a second pilot on there operating a turret if you want even more DPS. But the big kicker is that it has exterior cargo, so it should be pretty easy to get the cargo on and off. Now, the unshielded cargo, I don't know how much of an issue that is going to be in pyro with the solar flares and pirates, so your mileage may vary. External cargo is more risky, but if you are willing to take that risk, you won't have to stop and refuel. You can just jump from pyro to Stanton without having to worry about anything. And with 96 SU of cargo, you can get a decent amount of whatever you want to trade back to Stanton. Okay, then combat ship, we got the Vanguard Harbinger. Okay, the Harbinger has a DPS of 2,186. A lot of good DPS there, and shields of 14,200. It's got quantum fuel 2,500 and hydrogen fuel of 390,000. So as the least amount of shields, least amount of hydrogen, and least amount of quantum fuel of any ship on this list. Again, it also has the torpedoes. This is going to be huge if you're going up against a bigger ship. And it has that man turret if you want to bring a friend along. The amenities are also very nice. It has weapons lockers. It has suit lockers. It has bunks that are escape pods. It has bathroom. It has storage for, boxes and whatnot. The only downside is probably the ramp. The 2-stage ramp is annoying. I don't know why CIG has it like that. But the Harbinger, in my opinion, is a great choice. Last on this list, we have a ground vehicle. If you're going to use a ground vehicle in pyro, in my opinion, there's really only one choice to kind of survive the solar flares. You're going to need an enclosed vehicle, and you're going to want to need an enclosed vehicle that is small enough to fit in one of the ships that we just talked about. So really the only choice until the G12 comes out is the Ursa rover. I would say it's interchangeable with the G12 because I think they have the same DPS. The Ursa rover has a DPS of 549. Yes, it has more DPS than the 400i and the MSR as stock. So the Ursa rover has good DPS, and in terms of shields, it has 750. Not big shields, but the big reason you're going to want to take the Ursa rover again is because you're protected on the inside. You don't have to worry about running out of oxygen. It is relatively nice handling. You have seats in the back. Again, when the G12 comes out, I would suggest that because you have that 2 SU of cargo. But again, it depends on what you want to do. I think they have similar DPS and similar handling. So that is my list. My 10 solo ships for Pyro. Okay, these ships have good fuel, good DPS, good shields. Again, your mileage may vary, but in my opinion, I think these ships are going to serve you well in the dangerous system of Star Citizen Pyro. Okay, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I wanted to make this video a little bit shorter. Again, as always, it's minimum 20 minutes because that's just how it is. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Okay, I love hearing what you guys have to say. You guys have been doing an amazing job of liking, subscribing, commenting. It really means the world to me, okay, that you guys are interacting with the channel and seeing it grow so much from CitizenCon. It just kind of encourages me to keep going and making these videos and spending time with you guys and talking about this stuff. I love the game. I love talking about it. So thank you. But yeah, that's going to be it for me here today, you guys. Like I always say at the end of these videos, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salute.